Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to Transformative Thoughts. Today is March 16th, 2023, 10:55 p.m. I just want to end off the night tonight with a thought and a follow-up of what I shared in the previous video. In the previous video, I spoke about the systems, the existing systems of the game of life, the existing systems of our worlds that we currently live in. Because when you start to understand the systems, when you become aware of how the systems work, the rules, the mechanics, the intricacies, the way that you navigate through the game becomes much more simple. I'm not saying it's easy, I'm saying it's simple in terms of you being able to see life for what it is. You can see things from miles away. You can just observe and you can see the system unfold right in front of you. Otherwise, you just be flowing through the game on autopilot and you have no idea what's going on. But once you become aware, everything changes. And I'll give you an example. All right, so before I was ever aware, let's go back to even 2017. Before I became aware of my own thoughts, before I became aware of the world around me, the world around me was actually controlling how I was playing the game. But once I became aware and I started to learn more, I started to understand different systems of our worlds, like healthcare, like the media, like government, like finance, education, technology, food. When you start researching, when you start educating yourself on those systems, the exact systems we engage with on a day-to-day basis. So right now, in front of me, I'm holding a phone, right? This is technology. But do you really know how technology works? Do you know how advanced technology is right now when it comes to artificial intelligence or the microphone that is listening to me right now, like Siri, right? Do we know how the systems work? Because once you do, you start making different decisions in this game of life. You start to approach it completely different than how you used to. So let's use healthcare as an example, okay? When I first started taking care of my health, I wasn't aware of the food that I was putting into my body. I wasn't aware of how the food that I was eating was impacting how I was feeling, was impacting how I was thinking, and even how I was taking action on a day-to-day basis. Now, when I start to ask more questions and ask myself, okay, well, what am I putting into my body? And the food that I'm putting into my body, who is making that food? What are they putting into the food before I even put it into my body? And do I understand the ingredients that are in the food that I'm putting into my body? Now you start peeling back the layers. Okay, you start to go deeper and deeper and deeper. You start to understand food manufacturing. You start to understand even the water system and why the water that we drink today isn't as healthy as we think it is. So we have to make sure that we source good food products and a good water source. Because all of that, as soon as you consume it, it changes the way that your body operates. Again, we are the players playing the character in this game. And if you want to play far and long, you have to take care of all of this. And that is what I was interested in. And that's what made me so fascinated about healthcare itself. When I started to evolve and transform my body, I started to learn more. I started to read more. I started to ask more questions. And that's what led me to what I'm doing today. Because if I wasn't interested, if I wasn't curious about the food industry, if I wasn't curious about what I was putting into my body, including medicine, right? So this is healthcare. If I wasn't interested in any of that, I wouldn't be interested in what I'm doing today, which is cannabis warehouse, medicinal cannabis. And that falls under the healthcare system. Now, why is it so important that you understand these systems? Because when you start to understand these systems and you navigate yourself through it, you start to figure out what you're actually interested in. Just pay attention to what you're learning. Pay attention to the information that you're consuming. You'll always find something that you are deeply passionate about. And I just so happen to find my passion because I was interested in learning the systems. Before all of this, I was not interested in healthcare at all. But now that I'm deep into it, I want to know more. I see the flaws of the healthcare system in this game. I see the gaps. I see the holes. And because I see the flaws, the gaps, and the holes, and everything that's wrong with it, my mind now tries to come up with solutions. And the key solution right now that I'm focusing on is the medicinal cannabis space. Because, again, I'm learning about healthcare, I'm understanding pharmaceuticals, and I personally choose not to consume any pharmaceuticals if I don't have to. I save it as the last resort if I really, really, really fucking have to, and if I don't, I choose not to. Instead, I find alternative therapies. I find alternative treatments like medicinal cannabis. Okay? Once I start learning more about that, the entire gateway opens. Who else can benefit from this? Who else can benefit from understanding this, and how can I help? How can I develop a solution through the business that I'm working in so that I can create that pathway for other people to learn? So now, every day when I wake up, I finally know what I'm passionate about. I finally know what I'm interested in for now. And that has to do with the healthcare space because I value all of this. But I have to admit, the last 6.5 years, before Cannabis Warehouse even started about 2.5 years ago, I had no interest because I wasn't aware at the time. I was trying things over and over and over again, failing businesses over and over again, doing the things that I didn't like until I created the opportunity to do the things that I do like. So, understanding technology in the beginning, marketing, advertising, media, entertainment, that's what I started off with, okay? Then I went deeper into the business and consulting worlds. And through the business and the consulting worlds, I got to get involved in conversations about healthcare. I got to get involved in conversations about the law. I got to get involved about the conversations in education. And when you get exposed to those things over time and you start to ask more questions and you start to learn more about each industry of our worlds, you start to piece together how everything is connected. You know, how the banking system is connected to businesses, how the businesses is connected to education. So I can go very deep into this, but I just want to simplify it. Just make it really, really simple. Study the systems of this game of life. Study the industries. Understand how the industries work and how it affects our life, how it affects you, whoever's fucking listening to this right now. If you just observe your day-to-day life and you take a look at the systems you're engaged with, just find the ones that interest you the most. Find the ones that, you know, bother you from within, where you're like, man, this is fucked up. I don't like how this system is working right now. I think it can do better. I think I can contribute to that and make it better. And once you find that hill, right? You find that hill that you want to climb and you want to plant that flag to defend that flag. Once you find that, I think that's where passion comes from. Because when you finally find it, work no longer feels like work. It feels like fun. It feels like play. And that's the position I see myself in right now, because every day when I wake up, I think about cannabis. Every day when I wake up, I think about what I need to do next to continue to develop our business, to continue to build and provide a good service and a good solution to our clients, to our community, to the country that we're involved in, right? That's what I'm focused on. And it all came from me over the years, just asking questions, being curious about wanting to know about the industries of our worlds, and just playing the game. That's it. So for the first time, okay, for the first time in 6.5 years of being an entrepreneur, of doing things that I don't like on a day-to-day basis, failing over and over again, by going through that process, I finally landed on the opportunity. Well, actually, I wouldn't even say landed on the opportunity. I created the opportunity for me to do what I love most. And that's what I'm passionate about today. I want to create a difference in the healthcare space, and I'm going to fucking do that. So that's all I got for today. If you got any value from today's video or any of the previous ones I've recorded, please give this a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel somewhere, at the bottom here. Subscribe to the channel. Show your support, because all I want to do is share the thoughts that I have in my mind, and hopefully it helps someone. All right, so this channel here, Transformative Thoughts, I talk a lot about self-development, business, entrepreneurship, philosophy, and most importantly, spirituality, because all of those things currently intertwine throughout my life, and it's building this character that I'm playing. So until then, I will catch you in the next video. Take care.